Hi, in this video we will see the another locator techniques which is called CSS selector to locate particular element. So here for example we are in the eBay website, we want to locate the search button by using CSS selector. At first we need to inspect the element, so I'm going to right click and I'm choosing the inspect from this menu. Once we select inspect, the Chrome developer tools will be open at the down. From here we are seeing it is highlighting that thing. If we check carefully this line of code, we are seeing that this line actually it starts with a tag, that is the input tag, and there are a couple of attributes. So here we are seeing type is one attribute, class is another attribute, id is another attribute, and value is another attribute, and for each attribute there are a couple of values. So I'm going to copy the whole line, basically the HTML code, and then I'm going to jump to the Eclipse to paste it, because we want to create the CSS selector from this tag. So here basically I'm going to comment this line of code because we don't need it anymore, and then I'm going to paste the copied HTML code which we copied from the web page. So once we paste it, we are seeing that like this type of text or code. I'm going to comment this line also, and now we need to create the CSS selector from this line of code. The CSS selector code is almost similar with the XPath. It should be starts with tag name again, but this time we will not use any double slash. For XPath we had a double slash which was the starting, but for CSS selector we will not use any type of double slash. Rather we'll type directly the tag name and then we'll modify the XPath so that we can use for CSS selector. So at first the syntax is, at first we need to put a tag name, and then after that we have to put a square. Inside this square, basically what we need to do, we need to put the attribute and the value. So here there will be no @ sign, and the value of that attribute should be enclosed with a quotation mark, not double quotation. Previously we put double quotation, it should not be double quotation, it should be only single quote. And this is the syntax: tag name, then square bracket, then attribute equal to value. Now let's create the XPath based on that HTML code. So here we are seeing the input is the tag, so I'm going to type the tag name first. So the tag name is input, so I'm going to type input, and then we have to put a square bracket, and inside this square bracket we need to type the attribute name and value. For example, I'm going to use this id attribute, but you can use the other attribute, that is fine also. I'm using id attribute, then I just typed id, and then we have to type a equal sign or equal operator. Then finally we need to initialize the value of that attribute, so I'm just copied there, and then we are putting a single quotation, and inside it I'm putting the value, and this is the CSS selector for that HTML code. It is very simple, and the major difference between XPath and CSS selector, there should be no double slash and no @ sign. Let's check whether this element is able to locate that element or not. That's why I'm going to copy this thing, and I'm going to dev tools, and then I'm going to open the search window. Once the search window is there, I'm just pasting that copied text, and we are seeing it is highlighting the element code, and that means basically it is able to locate that element by that CSS selector. Let's jump to Eclipse again. Now we are going to write a code which will actually open the eBay, and then it will find the search button, and finally it will able to click that search button. We want to do this automation using Java Selenium. So I'm going to top, and here basically if we review the previous code, like we have a driver object which is Chrome driver, and then after that we are opening the website, and now we will use the same object which is called the driver object, and then we'll use this object to find that locate. So I'm going to use that driver object, and then I'm using the find element method because we are going to find only one element, that's why I use find element. Then we have to put the CSS selector definition, so I'm typing by.css selector, and inside this method I'm going to type a double quote, and then finally we need to put the CSS selector. I'm going to add a semicolon so that Eclipse will not give us any error. So I'm going to copy this CSS selector code which is input, and the square bracket id equal to the id's value which is the attribute's value, and I'm going to paste it here. And using this line of code, basically we are able to find that element easily. Now what we need to do, we need to find, and then after that we are trying to click that link basically. So I can use the click method to click the link or element, and finally what it is doing, it is by this line basically it is finding that element and finally going to click, and after that it is waiting for 5 seconds by using this method, sleep method, thread.sleep, this method. So now let's save our code and try to run to check whether it is working properly or not. I just saved the code and going to click the green triangle button to start the automation, and once I click the green triangle button, the Chrome browser will be open shortly. Once it is open, then it is going to ebay.com, this website, and from this eBay website it is trying to locate that search element, and once it find that element it is going to click that search element and it is going to the search page, and here we are seeing that it entered different page. If we check the URL carefully, we will see that the URL is completely different. It's not only ebay.com, it has the other page, and after 5 seconds it will close the browser, and that's it. In this way we can use the CSS selector to identify the particular element and do some automation based on our own requirement. Hopefully this video will be helpful for you. If you have any question or comment, please put in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.